everyone? Welcome back to another not so fun filled this week, at least not for me. Another episode of Left Side, Strong Side. I'm your host, Chance Ellison, joined once again by my co-host, Mike Deacon. He is back in the saddle this week. He had a pretty good, good week. All things considering. We'll talk about the fallouts later, but
pretty wild week again. Very difficult to predict anything that's going on this year, period. If you get like 3/4 of the games right in any given week, pat yourself on the back because it's just been a wild season as a whole.
I'll say this. This might have been the worst game of worst week of football this year so far.
It was some bad games. There really were.
Some really bad ones. Several bad games. We're going to get into a lot of those right now. Yeah. Let's start off with our Thursday night game. Want to know how bad this week of football was? The Thursday night game was a complete ass, as it usually is.
Like the Thursday night game was actually probably one of the three best of the week, bizarrely.
Yeah, we had the Saints taking on the Arizona Cardinals. Once again, Jameis Winston out. Michael Thomas also still out. Which means, like I predicted earlier in the year, Olave did get a lot of play in this game.
Yeah, and he's starting to look. They gave up 2 draft picks to get him. He's looking like he was worthwhile. The Saints right now, like this game showed, though, they don't have the firepower to compete in high-scoring games. I don't think.
No, they don't. They're built. If they can. The defense needs to hold the opponents to under like 20. If they want to.
This wasn't on the defense; it was the turnovers.
Here's the problem. The final score was 34-42. Reason it's got that high is because Andy Dalton threw 2 pick sixes within 2 minutes.
Right.
And you know what? This did give us maybe the most Andy Dalton clip I've ever seen.
The best
against the Cardinals. And have been huge. One stop.
Whoever that cameraman is deserves a
raise. He deserves a raise and an Oscar. Because that's like maybe the most Andy Dalton ass shot I've ever seen in my life.
It was cinematic bliss right there.
It was. Olave was the shining spot for the Saints. He got over 100 yards through the air. Like dude was electric. He's looking like maybe the best receiver out of that draft, which again goes well for me. I did predict him for Offensive Rookie of the Year, and considering his big competition is no longer a factor, we'll get to that later.
Yeah, we'll get to that. But on the opposite side, the Cards, DeAndre Hopkins is game changer.
DeAndre Hopkins coming back is going to be a big game changer for them the rest of the season.
Absolutely. They looked like a different offense with him on the field. He wasn't necessarily being as explosive as Hollywood Brown. However, anytime the ball came near him, he was making play after play after play after play. The guy is a total game wrecker, and this offense is going to be substantially better having him back on the field.
Yeah, I think that he was a big security blanket for Murray, just because he could chuck it deep, and if you can get it, he's one of those guys if you can get it into the area code of DeAndre Hopkins, he's gonna catch the ball. Like the dude is a mistake eraser.
Yeah, his radius of catches is insane. What he can catch, and going forward, I think we're going to be seeing more scores along these lines with the Cardinals because they have him, and we know that Kyler feels very, very confident with him. 14 targets in the game. He's going to definitely be a big factor going forward, and I do expect to see a lot of high-scoring Cardinals games coming up soon.
Yeah, absolutely. He adds a whole nother level to that offense. So,
and Benjamin did really well as well.
Filling in for the once again injured James Conner.
What a shock!
What a surprise! Cardinals are looking better. I still think that they're not in a great place, but considering how bad their division is, still seems wide open.
They could sneak in, and the NFC West is just. Who knows at this point? Every week it looks like somebody else. And the Cardinals, if they can just put up enough of a fight, they're not out. They definitely aren't.
No, absolutely not. They could definitely kind of rebound and just rally their season. That was our Thursday night game. Moving on to our Sunday slate, starting with the Falcons taking on the Cincinnati Bengals. And I think it's safe to say the Super Bowl hangover is officially up for Cincinnati.
Done. This offense is back in a big, big way. Joe Burrow, if they hadn't been so far ahead, very well might have set the NFL record for passing yards in the game because he was trending towards it. Obviously, they took their foot off the gas towards the end of the game, but they looked damn good. Everything was clicking on offense. Mixon looked good. Boyd looked great. Chase looked great. Burrow looked like a world beater. You know,
Burrow had over 500 yards from scrimmage.
Total 520 yards.
He was 19 short of 500 yards in a game through the air. Just like that, it's incredible. Like they had 2 receivers go over 150. They were very close to having 3 receivers over 100 yards in the game because T. Higgins felt like 7 yards short.
Yeah. With these 3 receivers too, you know, Tyler Boyd on most teams would be an outright 2, and in some cases maybe even a 1, and he's their 3. That's kind of terrifying.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. The fact that this offense can do this much. Speaking of someone, conversely, someone who's not doing anything, Kyle Pitts. Where is he?
Kyle Pitts and Drake London, both of them.
Yeah. Again, this is kind of making the case is like, could Ritter really be that much worse than what they're doing right now?
I don't think so. The problem they're having is they're in such a bad division that they are still. They still think they're
still competitive. But my question is like, does Ritter give you a worse chance?
I mean, that's a really fair question.
Or do your playoff hope get better with Ritter in the game? Because, like, honestly, looking at what Mariota's been playing, you might be better off putting Ritter in.
Yeah, I agree with you on so many aspects, and the two of them play such similar style that they're not going to change their play calling too much. Ritter's faster than Mariota right now. I don't know if he's necessarily going to have the accuracy, but even that accuracy. The thing with Ritter is you got to at least kick the tires on him to see if if you don't have to make another move in the offseason, because you have something in house right now. You got to see what you have.
Yes, I think that in the Falcons, they're still in like a very curious spot, which I didn't think they'd be at all. They can still make the playoffs.
Then their division's terrible.
Yeah, their division is just so.
The NFC is pretty much terrible, but
that's true. But the South,
it's going to be a recurring theme.
Both South especially bad.
Yeah, they are really.
This is a case of where the Bengals just decided, you know what, people have been doubting us for a couple of weeks. We're going to beat the shit out of somebody. Atlanta, step up to the plate.
It looked like a replay of it was like Week 16 Bengals versus the Falcons defense of last year, basically. Yeah. And this is a kind of score you would have predicted in the before the season started. And the Bengals, like you said, they right now are getting hot. I would not want to play them right now.
I would not either. Moving on to our next game, we got the Lions taking on the Cowboys. And Detroit, what the hell happened to you? You at one point had the number 1 scoring offense in the league. And you've put up a grand total of 6 points in the last 3 weeks.
Yep.
Well, 3, because they were 5. But still, so 6 points in 3 weeks.
The injuries. There's going to be a discussion, obviously, about the new concussion protocols with Amon-Ra St. Brown coming out of that game and not having a concussion. But obviously, no Swift, no St. Brown. The Cowboys play their defense had a lot of pressure on Goff the entire game. He couldn't get rid of the ball, and he needed Swift in this game in a bad way if they were going to even have a remote chance.
Goff accounted for 4 turnovers on the day, 2 picks and 2 fumbles, and he was sacked 5 times.
Mm-hmm.
And not to mention the Detroit defense couldn't. Once again, Detroit defense couldn't do anything. You want to see the best play the Detroit defense made all day? It's right here.
On first down. They're getting to him today. Brown, what a hit, and the ball comes out. Ball is out at the 3-yard line, and Detroit has recovered.
That's the only notable thing their defense did all day.
This defense came out. The Cowboys were not at all in sync at all. You know, having Dak back, he was.
Oh no,
not
the offense didn't do anything special.
He didn't do. He barely did anything. I mean, I guess he only turned the ball over once, but the overall they wound up just flat-footed. You know, the ground game did well. Zeke and Pollard did very well, but the offense as a whole with Dak didn't look any better, if not potentially even worse than Cooper Rush. And this is the worst defense in the league.
Yeah, this is. I mean, I'm a little alarmed. I mean, the Cowboys fans can take the win because they're insufferable and that's what they do. But I'm very concerned for them in the coming weeks.
The defense looks great, though. They really do. You can't discredit the Cowboys' defense right now. They are towards the top of the league in defense, and Micah Parsons really making a case for Defensive Player of the Year.
Did he have any sacks on the day? I know he didn't have any last week.
He had he was part of one of the fumbles, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, he counted for 1 sack, power for one fumble. So I mean, he's only down because TJ Watt's still hurt. Once TJ comes back, it's going to be a whole new ball game. But I do want to give credit for Jamal Williams doing the thing that Detroit fans and players have wanted to do to a ref for years.
Holding offense number 63, 10-yard penalty, replay third down.
Ironically, that happened as they were flagging the lines. So, yep, Detroit's welcome back. Let's kick it ref for you very fast.
They are currently the number 1 pick in the 2023 draft if it ended today.
Yep. Up next, we got the Colts versus the Titans, the battle for supremacy in the AFC South. And looks like the Titans might be back as well.
Yeah, I agree.
They are right back to doing what made them successful in the first place. Because, look at passing wise, not much. They're really leaning on their run game because King Henry is once again rumbling with the rock.
Yeah, absolutely. Henry looked fantastic in this game. They couldn't stop him.
This is his 3rd straight game of 100 or more yards.
Yeah, he's really starting to roll. And as long as he stays healthy, there is absolutely no reason that Tennessee should not run away with this division right now.
Yeah, no, a healthy King Henry is the best player, not only on this team, potentially in that division.
Absolutely at this point, because everyone looks at Jonathan Taylor. Jonathan Taylor is still not himself. He's not himself.
No, he's not. And yeah, it's also like wild because the Colts have a good line, or at least they thought they did.
They have, maybe they've aged out of the line a little bit because they do, have the past couple of years. It hasn't really changed much, but it's possible they've just kind of aged up to the point where they're wearing down. Nyheim Hines looks like a more explosive runner than Taylor right now. Nyheim Hines is not known for being, he's a 3rd down back. He's not an explosive runner.
Yeah. We also got to talk about Matt Ryan. Matt Ryan, who is, after he had a great game last week, he has gone right back to looking like week 1 Matt Ryan.
And we have seen potentially his final snap of the season.
We're back.
Yes, it was announced that Matt Ryan, in addition to injury, has been benched. Injury also has been playing well. And is announced that Sam Ehlinger will be starting for the Colts the rest of the season. Potentially.
Yeah. Again, who knows? Because we've seen stranger things happen in the league. Maybe this is the spark they need. There's nothing at Ehlinger that's screaming that you're looking at an elite quarterback. But, hey, crazier things have happened. Just watch football any Sunday and just watch him throw 4 touchdowns a week. I don't know.
It could happen, but once Titans get rolling, once the Titans, more specifically Derrick Henry, get rolling, they are a scary team.
I agree.
Moving on to our next game. In a normal week, this would be the upset of the week, but this is not a normal week. We're talking about the Packers versus the Commanders. This is a game that I thought the Packers would have had handily.
Mm-hmm. It's Taylor Heineke.
Yes, you are playing Taylor Heine. And for the first couple quarters, he looked like Heine.
He did.
Yeah, I think it was like a quarter and change, or that you completing a pass.
Yeah, but credit to them, Terry McLaurin. That boy is a superstar.
Yeah,
The
I
way
remember we said first, like the first week when they played the Giants, and Justin Jefferson had carte blanche on the field. We're just like you have Jair Alexander. Why not just like put him in man, like see what he's got. I think he can take him. Well, they put him in man this week, and Jair got burned by Scary Terry.
Mhm. Yeah, he made play after any time they needed to play. It's like the ball's in the air. It's like McLaurin's going to do something. His stat line doesn't look, out of this world. But if you watch that game, he was a game changer. An absolute.
Not to mention the Packers fall once again to the exact same traps that cost them the previous 2 weeks.
On the final play, you got to run the ball again. 1 yard. You need 1 yard. Run the ball. Run the ball. All he has to do is run the football. God dang it, run the dang ball. Run the ball.
I will say.
Yes, the Packers totaled for 12 carries on the day. Aaron Jones got 8. A.J. Dillon got 2. This is still one of the best running back tandems in the league.
Agreed.
For some reason, they are just not giving them the ball.
Yeah, I don't understand this at all. That when they've had what limited success they've had this season has been when they've had the run game going, because this receive who would have thought? I mean, that Aaron Rodgers right now is a bottom tier quarterback, and it's not necessarily on him. It's primarily on this receiving core that cannot catch a damn thing.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like besides Alan Lazard and Aaron Jones did account for 9 receptions. The rest of the receiving core, hands for decoration only.
Dobbs looks terrible. Obviously, Watson is now hurt. He wasn't doing anything to begin with. Watson, he needs to retire.
just give up.
Yeah, just give up, Watkins. You're done.
Just stop. Just stop. But yeah,
the
I
Packers.
think this is the case of like where beating the Packers is now very easy. All you have to do, run the ball on them, because they did that very well. I think the Commanders had like 166 yards on the ground.
Gibson and Robinson, both of them did very well against them.
Yeah, Robinson had 73 yards. Gibson had like 59, and you just add all the other yards that accounts to 166. Run the ball on them because they can't stop a run, and then try and force them, dare them to run the ball because they won't.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that is scary. That is like scary to think about for Packers fans and Packers alike. And I'm terrified for them coming next week.
That Sunday night could be brutal. I mean, we're gonna talk about that in a little bit.
Sunday night could get ugly.
It could be absolutely brutal.
Yeah, like I said, in a normal week, this would have been upset of the week. Our actual upset of the week goes to the Buccaneers versus the Panthers. The Panthers.
How did this happen?
Like pretty much unanimously agreed upon to be the worst team in the league. Had a record of 1-5 coming into this, and they managed to upend the Buccaneers.
And they established a run, and that's the crazy thing. They established a run game. They had McCaffrey.
Keep in mind, they just traded their best player. Yeah, McCaffrey was traded to the 49ers. So they did this. Were able to clamp down on the Buccaneers offense and produce points with P.J. Walker under center and with Chuba Hubbard as their starting back.
Hubbard and Foreman did fantastic, actually. Like, if you watch that, both of them were running angry the whole game.
Yeah. And I will show you exactly how this happened. This is exactly the play that killed the Buccaneers.
Fires downfield, and the pass is bobbled and dropped.
As soon as Mike Evans couldn't hold on, first of all, Mike Evans dropping that pass, which I have never seen him do.
Right.
Yeah, as soon as Mike Evans dropped that pass, the offense couldn't hold on to a nutsack.
Yeah, that was 1 minute and 20 seconds into the game there. And the red zone feed immediately cut to it because they were like, well, you got to see what just happened in the Bucs-Panthers game. And it's Mike Evans. And it's like, oh, well, he just scored a 60-yard touchdown. Nope.
He had 10 yards of separation between him and the nearest defender, and he still couldn't come down with it.
That would have been one of the easiest touchdowns he's ever scored.
It would have been. But yeah, Bucks counted for 3 points on the day. Only scored the field goal, and they got absolutely dog-walked by the Panthers. The Panthers.
Yeah. The Panthers, their D line played very well. I will just say that they had pressure on Brady like most of the game. They never gave Brady an opportunity. Brady made some of the worst passes I've seen him make
In his career.
in his career in this game. And that's talking about somebody who played in New England in several snow games that were basically unplayable games. And just some of the things he was doing, like he is broken man right now.
Yeah, but still, you got people like this. I mean, Tom Brady. Want to get his stat line real quick. 32 for 49 for 290 yards and no touchdowns.
That's what I'm talking about. That's why he's the MVP. That's why he's the GOAT. The GOAT.
Fucking outstanding stuff, Tom. Good
Terrible.
job. No wonder your family's leaving you. Conversely, we have our game of the week. This one was tough because there were not a lot of great games, but I do have to give credit to this one, which was the closest, most clenching. Oh, okay. First of all, last game was game of the week for me because I love seeing Tom Brady get owned like that. That was amazing. Actual game of the week, we're giving it to the Giants versus the Jaguars.
Came down to the very last play, and both teams were this was two teams. A dogfight. This was a dogfight. It wasn't super high scoring, but it was two teams just throwing everything they had at each other. And that's especially for two teams that neither of them had very high expectations coming into the season. Both of them, Giants in particular, overperforming. The Jaguars started overperforming, obviously have kind of slipped back as time has gone on.
They slipped back into being the Jaguars again.
Yeah, but this was, a fun game to watch, and that's all I could ask for. It went so long too. This game went deep. It was, if I'm not mistaken, it was the last of the early slate to end.
Yeah,
and did get a lot of coverage at the end of the game. I was watching Red Zone myself, and the early 4:00 games got no coverage to start with because this game was just too damn exciting at the end.
Yeah, this is a game where I think that the Jaguars definitely need to take a look at their run defense because you have both Saquon Barkley and Daniel Jones rushing for over 100 yards each. Yeah,
and Brady was doing fine too. Even in his limited role, Brady was running angry on them too. So
he was.
The defensive line of the Jaguars definitely needs to be looked at. Lawrence needs to make slightly better decisions at this point.
He does, but I will say, as a passing wise, maybe the best game he's played because I don't think he's ever had a 300 game in the league so far.
I'm not 100% on that particular stat,
but yardage wise, is one of his better games.
Yeah,
decision wise, that's another story because he made some absolutely baffling calls on it.
And that the throw to Kirk at the end of the game with no time left was a fantastic throw. It's just the Giants covered it perfectly.
They did. If Kirk is there a second earlier, they win that game.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just an unfortunate thing. But the Giants, are the Giants legit? My question.
Still a question we're going to be asking. Look at what they've got coming up. Their schedule. Obviously they've got another game against Dallas, and they've got 2 against the Eagles. The rest of their schedule is not that daunting. I mean, they could come out of here, and as weird as it is to say, they're definitely, I would say at this point in a very weak NFC, they've got to be one of the favorites to make the playoffs.
I mean, right now they're 6-1 right now, which is insane considering where this team was last year. I mean, it's going to remain to be seen, but it's going to remain to be seen how their long-term go. But as for right now, they're crushing.
And this literally, I think, is the worst receiving core. I think it's even worse than the Packers is right now.
And their receiving core is awful, and their QB is awful too. Don't be fooled. Daniel Jones is still not the guy,
but he's just doing just enough to win.
Yeah. So this game was exciting down to the very end. It was actually a replay of I don't remember the number, but Super Bowl was the Rams versus the Titans.
Mm-hmm. That was
he was 6 inches from the end zone.
It was in 2000. I don't remember the number, but it was the 2000 Super Bowl.
The one that gave Kurt Warner his ring.
Yep.
Yeah.
Very reminiscent. Yes, I agree.
Got big flashbacks to that game, but
mm-hmm.
This was easily the most exciting game we've had. Besides, one of the most exciting games we had this weekend. Talk about some other
one of the only ones.
One of the few, because like that, not a good week of ball being played.
Or good games.
Up next we got ugly AFC North football.
So this was exciting in a very different reason. It was just a matter of which one of them is going to not blow it. Like two teams that notoriously all season have just been giving it up in the fourth quarter. Something had to give.
The thing is, it almost happened again. Yep. The Ravens, for like the fifth time in 7 weeks, gave up a double-digit lead in the second half of the game.
Mm-hmm.
Only difference is that it didn't cost them the game.
And the Ravens right now have forever been identified by their defense. Their run defense is not good, and I'm surprised that the Browns, obviously Chubb had a day, but every team in the league right now is going to be dialing up every run play they have against the Ravens defense. And man, I feel like we're getting to a broken record, but like Lamar has next to nothing to throw to right now. He's got Andrews.
Mark Andrews, Rashad Bateman, that's it. But even then, you look at his stats, like 120 yards on the day, like 59 rushing. This is the guy that wants a fully guaranteed contract? This guy
was the worst game. The worst game I've seen him play since he first became a starter.
This is like he's had like a big backslide. It looks like a straight MVP in the first couple of weeks. I don't know what's happened in the last couple, but he has not looked like himself. No,
not at all. The O-line is not what it was. They've gone through 5 starting running backs, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
Gus definitely looked right now of what we've seen so far. Looks like he's the best one so far. We'll see if that maintains, but he's also so injury prone. This team needs some kind of stability somewhere. Like they need a run. They've been a team that's always been big on the run. They need to establish that, and this defense needs to tighten up.
Yeah, but like we said, they're up by 10 points in the third quarter. They proceed to blow that. By the fourth, Cleveland is only 3 points down.
Yep.
This is where we get to this is my most controversial game of the weekend because we do have something to talk about in this one. First, the Browns were on the receiving end of 2 different calls. First of which you have this one. Corset drops back, lost a beautiful ball to Amari Cooper, but he was flagged for offensive PI. Now, this one's a little less ambiguous. You see, just kind of get a push off here. So you know what? I will give them that one. It's fringe, but I will let that one slide.
Yeah, he pushed off.
Thing is, they're still in field goal range for Cade York. However, the field goal was flagged as well. You would think outside of the defense. No, this is called false start on the kicking team. Yeah. You're hearing that right. This was called false start on the kicking team. Yeah, that was unbelievable.
To lose and that essentially more or less cost them the game. They couldn't recover after that. And
yeah, basically because Cade York tried to kick, shanked it badly,
very, very, very badly. That was one of the worst kicks of the year.
Yeah.
It was tipped in his defense, but
it was tipped, and also like you're trying to kick a 60-yard with a rookie. That's a big ask for anybody.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, so like I said, this game is always ugly. But yeah, Baltimore, they have a propensity to just not finish off their opponents, and I don't understand why.
We'll see what's going to happen this week. Because this week's another something's got to give game.
Well, and up next we have Meme Bowl. We have
Broncos country. Let's
taking on
the goddamn Jets.
Your boys, Mike.
It was ugly.
This is a game that I did pick the New York Jets to win.
It was the first time all season I did myself too.
Not only because and that's not just because the Broncos were starting Brett Rippon at QB because Russell Wilson's hurt.
Right. One way or the other, this Broncos offense is terrible. Just absolutely terrible.
Doesn't matter what you throw into it.
Yeah. And with 2 very, very good wide receivers in Courtland Sutton and Jerry Jeudy. Obviously, granted, we didn't know this coming into the season that the Jets actually have basically a shutdown corner at this point. Almost two of them because Reed is also.
Jerry's very good.
that is playing way tougher than imagined. This is a Broncos defense that's not allowing very much. Like their defense is actually playing really, really damn good. And it's everybody's overlooking that because of how bad their offense is. They still only gave up 16 points in this game.
Yeah. A big key to the Jets offense, though, Breece Hall. My God. This dude might be like a generational running back. The fact that you got him in like the second round might be like just wow.
It's a tough loss. We literally in that game though lost the Jets lost their two best offensive players.
You beat the Bronco. What did it cost? Everything. Because Breece Hall tore an ACL and Elijah Vera Tucker, one of your best offensive linemen now,
by far,
is now out for the year.
But
now, I will say, it does. Now, here's the thing: we saw that happen, and we thought, okay, well, Breece Hall's hurt, so Michael Carter stonks. We thought he was stonks through the roof, but we found out afterwards that the Jets then traded for Jaguars running back James Robinson. So Michael Carter now not stunks at all.
It's going to be anybody who watched the Jets-Ravens game, it's going to be more of the split, I think, that they had in that first game. That Carter and Robinson are going to have a pretty close to 50-50 split, I do think. Robinson is probably going to get more of the third down work. I would imagine Carter will get the early down and Robinson will get the later downs. But
I'm surprised it took him this long to get. Well, no, okay. The last season, Etienne got hurt, so that's why he didn't get traded. But I'm surprised it took Robinson this long to get traded.
Yeah, and I like the value that the Jets gave. You know, it's a sixth or a fifth, and to get, if you saw what they needed to turn into a fifth is nothing. He needs 260 yards rushing, I think, is what the terms are for it to become a fifth. So they're going to get a fifth. But, for that, though, he's also a restricted free agent, so the Jets have the rights to him. So all things considered, it's not a bad trade. Breece Hall, obviously, this is such a tough time of the year to get injured, too, with the torn ACL because the recovery timetable, we're looking at, November of next year from the return.
Yeah.
Unless he pulls an Adrian Peterson, but that.
Or a Cam Akers.
Yeah, but yeah, well.
We saw how that went.
We saw how that went, exactly, yeah.
My question for you guys comes to Zach Wilson. Because Zach Wilson, who has thrown, I think, one touchdown pass in the last 3 games.
The biggest stat that they, obviously it's the one touchdown. He didn't turn the ball over against the Broncos, which that was key. But he also made
considering he had on the other side.
Real boneheaded plays. Like watching him, I feel like it's like a kid who doesn't know how to play football playing Madden with a 30-step drop back and then trying to just throw it anywhere to see what happens. Like teams are going to get on this. Like without Hall, without this explosive running game, it's tough to see them maintaining what they've done the past couple of weeks.
Agreed. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see how your season progresses because y'all been looking pretty good. Might be over, but y'all been looking pretty good up to this point.
Defense still looking good. I'm not going to be disappointed with the defense whatsoever. The offense, there's a lot of question marks.
You were really close to having like the offensive and the defensive rookie of the year. I think Sauce is like right now, like hands down the favorite.
There's no one close to him. And no. Who's close to him? Tell me.
like I can't think of anybody who's that close.
He killed it unanimously.
Yeah. Hall was looking like the front runner for offensive rookie of the year, but the fact he's hurt is going to hurt that campaign of his. I think Olave is now still firmly in the lead on that.
The front runner at this point.
Yeah. Moving on to our next game, we have 2 teams that are trying to get their second win of the season somehow. Lovie Claus versus Josh McDaniels. Texans versus Raiders.
I don't have much to say about this one. Josh Jacobs, that's all I got to say.
Keep in mind, though, the Raiders declined his 5th-year option before this season. Yep. That might come back to bite him in the ass in the end.
He is playing like a man possessed right now. This is the guy they drafted. It took him to the 4th season to do it, but this is the kid they drafted out of college. Alabama, yep. And he is playing possessed. Boy's going to get, I'd be very surprised if he stays with the Raiders after the season. The way he's playing, he's carrying that team. You know, and
He's going to get a good contract somewhere after this season.
it's just a matter of who gives it to him. You know, if he winds up on a team like Buffalo, holy crap, you know.
Yeah, that's scary for years to come. The failure of this game on the Texans does not come on the part of the offense because, you know, Davis Mills, not bad. Dameon Pierce, pretty good. And, you know, like they had several receivers break the 40-yard mark, which is fine.
Yeah, he spread the ball around.
Good spreading the ball. Problem is, defense couldn't stop anything.
No, not at all. The Texans have, you know, regressed to pretty much where you'd expect them to be at this point. They are probably the least outright talented team in the league right now, but they are showing heart, which some teams are not. Like right now, if the Texans played the Packers, we might pick the Texans.
Like the Texans might beat them. Yeah, it's strange. Devontae might. Actually, Devontae looked pretty good.
Yeah,
they're finally like reutilizing him.
Mac Hollins got the touchdown. You know, they started to spread the ball around a little bit. Obviously, the loss of once Waller's healthy, if he gets healthy this season, you know, the Raiders aren't out yet. You know, they got a little bit of an uphill climb, but they've got the talent to do it.
Yeah, absolutely. But Texans. I mean, they put together the finest tank I've seen this season. Detroit's got serve on you though. You gotta hope they win somewhere.
It's incredible.
Moving on to our next game, we got one that is surprising for one direction. We got the Seahawks versus the Chargers. If you told me at the beginning of this season that the Seahawks, led by Geno Smith, would get to 4-3 in the first 7 weeks,
yeah, and the crazy thing is they've looked pretty good. You know, they had 2 games that weren't that spectacular, but this one they dominated them. They outright dominated the Chargers.
Like the Chargers are a frustrating team.
You never know what you're going to get out of them. And like if they did not have Austin Eckler right now, they would be.
Well, they have. They have Austin Eckler. They're still not doing anything.
Right, but just think of how bad they'd be with that. Like how much worse they'd be without him.
That's true. I mean, receiving wise, running wise, can't do anything.
Yeah, they've been like that the whole time.
Like their best lineman is out for the year.
And now Mike Williams is going to be out for
Mike Williams hurts. They got Keenan Allen back, but Mike Williams is out probably for the season now. J.C. Jackson's out for the season.
Oh, that was brutal. That was absolutely brutal to watch.
The Chargers are getting destroyed from the inside out.
Yeah, they've for a team that literally had Super Bowl aspirations right now. Prior to the season, the injuries have just killed them. Even Herbert's not 100%. There's no way his ribs are 100%. No. He can't scramble the way he normally does. Not that he's, you know, a particularly mobile quarterback by comparison to some of the other players in the league. He looks like he's struggling on a lot of plays. But
keep in mind, like, you're stopping this dude because he can't establish a run. You're having this dude throw like 50 times a game.
Yeah,
that is not a sound way to continue. But also, like, how much money the Chargers spent on their defense in the offseason? And Kenneth Walker is still running 160 yards on you?
Yep.
Like, that's ridiculous.
Well, speaking of which, Kenneth Walker, damn, he's looking damn good.
Yeah, I'm not sure this is more about him or the Chargers' god-awful run defense, but yeah, he's looking incredible.
We're seeing, you know, a potential superstar being born. You know, we were talking about Breece Hall. Hey, somebody, you know, he gets hurt, and all of a sudden there's another guy over in Seattle who's looking. Looks like we got 2 legitimate stud running backs out of this draft class.
Yeah, I mean, I'm hoping James Cook can develop because I have him in Dynasty, but I'm hoping James Cook can grow up and do something. It's just not now.
He's not going to get the opportunities the other 2 did.
Probably not. Well, yeah, probably not. But still, yeah. I mean, it's the Seahawks. Can the Seahawks be legit Super Bowl contenders?
It's within this current NFC. Who knows?
Who knows? But I mean, I'm alarmed and shocked and delighted by how well the team has looked. Props to you, Pete Carroll, for like losing your best QB and then like being able to do this while What with Geno Smith?
And now Metcalf is down, and all of a sudden Marquise Goodwin is resurrected. Who had that on their bingo
When did
card?
that, yeah, how did that happen?
Yeah.
Moving on to
Good
our
boy.
next game. This is the last of our Sunday afternoon slate. We got the Chiefs versus the 49ers. This was a competitive game for about 2 quarters, and the Chiefs decided, oh, wait a minute, we're really good at this game. We're really good at the game of football. And then they just, it's weird, like, they had no reason to unload frustration against the 49ers, but they did it when they did it anyway.
The Chiefs look good. Like the biggest thing that can be taken out of this game was Mahomes was looking everywhere. That ball was getting thrown to anybody who was open. You know, you get a touchdown. You get the ball. Nicole Hardman, you're going to run 2 in. Like, you never knew what the hell they were going to do. And
They
the
have,
offense is
count,
firing on all
seven different receivers to, 8 different receivers to catch a pass on the day. Juju Smith-Schuster's really resurrecting his career. I feel bad that he's not in Pittsburgh, but I'm happy for the guy because I do like Juju. Conversely, though, I got to question the 49ers decision making on this because keep in mind, like we said earlier, they traded for Christian McCaffrey.
Right.
They traded a second, a third, a fourth, and a fifth for next year.
Right.
To get Christian McCaffrey. They made this move to win now. This is not a win now squad.
I agree. Their defense is certainly holding them together in a lot of the games they played. Obviously, this week it didn't look like that, but against the Chiefs, you have a team that Jimmy G is. I mean, he's obviously not the answer for this team, and that he wasn't supposed to be the answer for this team. He's kind of thrown into the role. They just didn't establish anything in this game.
No.
Like, no run game. They couldn't get anything really going. You have Deebo Samuel. You have George Kittle. Now you have Christian McCaffrey. You have Brandon Ayuk. And you did nothing. Like, I don't even know.
What was that? What was that trade for?
It's a really good question.
I get it. Like he just got there, so he's only trying to learn the playbook. I get it. He'll probably get more integrated into this offense until he breaks everything by week 12, because that's how it goes for McCaffrey.
And it's the 49ers. That's what I was saying when this happened. Like, well, you got the most injury-prone player going to the most injury-prone team.
Yeah, that's not good. I do think it's funny though that George Kittle and Travis Kelce literally had identical stats.
Just the touchdown was the only thing that was different.
Yeah, on national tight ends, they both caught 6 passes for 98 yards. These are the 2 best tight ends in the game.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, Kelce has consistently been for years now and is showing no signs of aging. Kittle, when he's healthy, is the outright 2. I have no argument against that. It's just he's on the 49ers. He gets hurt all the time.
But yeah, I feel like the Bills kind of like woke us up in the Chiefs, just like, okay, everybody on our schedule is now going to feel all right because of Buffalo.
Yep.
Thank them for your future suffering.
Yeah, the Chiefs don't have very many games that I think I'll be picking against them for the rest of the year, if any.
Yeah, they are a very good team, and they are looking very scary again.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, moving on to our Monday night game, because there was not fine. We'll talk about Sunday night. Steelers versus Dolphins. Now, look, I will say, this game at first was looking ugly. The defense literally let them drive down the field for a touchdown on the first drive.
Immediately.
Let Miami drive down the field for a touchdown on their first drive. Second, offense, 3 and out. Dolphins go back down for a field goal. But here's the thing. And I will give credit to defense for this. They adjusted. They did not let them, after that first drive, Miami, a team that has Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle and Raheem Mostert, a dynamic offense.
Very much.
They never let them back into the end zone.
Right. And yeah, the Pittsburgh defense did really well. Like, I agree with you on this. They tightened up. They wouldn't allow any big plays at all. Mostert was getting the ball a lot for, chunk plays, but they didn't allow either Waddle or Hill to make any explosive plays. And that's, if you're going to play the Dolphins close, that's what you got to do.
Yeah, you really got to lock up that offense, and they did that. So I give the defense a lot of credit. They really stepped up, except for in one regard. the Steelers could have had 4 picks. They dropped every single one of them. Cam Sutton dropped 1, Terrell Edmonds dropped 1, and Levi Wallace dropped 2. I get it. They say you're a defensive back because you didn't have the hands to be a receiver, but like most of those were gimmies, and most of them would have put us in Dolphins territory.
Absolutely. The other thing I was going to bring up with this game, the Steelers, again, like I know that their record doesn't reflect it right now, but they're doing the right thing with the way they're getting their young guys opportunities. They're gonna learn this year. You know, I'm not gonna call this a lost season because they're not. There's so many teams that are worse than them, but the more opportunities they get, give all these players opportunity to gel with Pickett. It's only going to be a good thing.
And I'll say this: Pickett looked pretty. I think he looks better every game I see.
Yeah, I agree. He's grown.
He's grown. He's more comfortable in the pocket. He's more poised as a passer. Here's the problem: he's trying to force way too many passes.
I agree.
It's the miscommunication. That I've said it every week. I'll continue to say it until they fire Matt Canada. Offensive play calling sucks. They're not enabling him, but he had the chance to end the game because they got the ball back inside of 2 minutes. Died in the field, score a touchdown, you win the game. He had a lane open.
Wide open.
He could have easily got to the sideline. And there's a miscommunication with Deontay Johnson, tries to throw a pick, decides to throw it, and it gets picked off. His third of the day. Like that was a soul-crushing interception. After another soul-crushing interception he had in the previous drive.
So on the other side, though, the biggest takeaway I had, obviously, the Dolphins definitely they came out on fire and then they stalled, but not once but twice, Tua, instead of sliding, dove into plays. I'm like, Tua,
they were just like, you just had a concussion. He's like, I have to be really careful. Tua was it, fuck it, we ball.
Twice he did it. Like, oh, I don't want to see this guy get hurt. Like, he's got a promising future. Don't end it with, these plays. He should have slid twice. Both times I screamed at the TV. I'm like, what is wrong with you?
I was so terrified for the safety of Tua. But yeah, look, this loss, I'm not angry at this loss. I'm frustrated because we could have won this game.
Absolutely. More so, again, the Steelers, they know what they have to do this year. This is an alarming game for the Dolphins, though. You're at home. You've got your starting quarterback back. You pretty much are healthy, and you are playing a team that's, expected to be a top 10 draft pick, and you can't do anything after the first quarter. There's some red flags on the Dolphins right now.
There are some real red flags. But yeah, Pittsburgh. This is frustrating about being a Pittsburgh fan. Like, there's so many games where we just beat ourselves. Beat ourselves. This was one of the. We had it. We could have had it.
Yeah,
and we let it slip through. We kept tripping on our own dicks. Regardless, Kenny, I still love you. Fix the interceptions. I still love you. And Steelers still go Super Bowl somehow. And last game, I don't want to talk about this game either. Because I don't want to talk about this game because PLD gets to feel joy. You got the Bears versus the Patriots.
I'm going to admit I encountered joy watching this game because I'm like, wow, that's the worst game I think I've seen the Patriots play in years.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Mac Jones, or as he's becoming known now, is Mac Bledsoe, is back in the game for a little bit. He started the game. You want to see the most notable play he had all game? It's right here. The most notable thing he did was kick a guy in the nuts.
Oh, I saw the clip and I started cracking up the second they showed the replay. I'm like, you got to be kidding me.
Yeah, he was benched for Bailey Zappi, and then I'll say this: like, there's like legitimate we talk about all the time about QB controversy. There's legit QB controversy in New England.
Yeah, Absolutely. And Zappe could have ended the controversy if he had continued the way he started on. He got in the game and he started out on fire, and then boy, did he fizzle out. So right now, I don't know which way you go on this. Mac is definitely the.
I promise you this. He's not starting next week.
Yeah.
Mac is not starting next week.
There's the thing that Bailey has over Mac right now. Bailey has chemistry with some of the receivers, which even in the early going of the season, Mac did not. Bailey has gotten something out of Devontae Parker and Jacoby Myers. Devontae Parker put up a goose egg the first game with Mac Jones week 1. So he's getting something out of this team that there was a spark there that Mac did not provide. The biggest bright spot that the Patriots have right now is Ramondre Stevenson. He's by far the best player on that offense, but they can't do anything other. If they keep relying solely on him, teams are just going to load the box, and it could be ugly.
Yeah, Bailey Zappe came for two picks, and they had 3 picks, 2 from Zappe, 1 from Mac Jones. Justin Fields didn't look outright terrible.
Game managed, he did what he had to do, and in a game like this, when you have Montgomery doing well, Herbert looked really explosive. I thought actually, of the 2 running backs, I've said this a couple of times this year. I'm becoming a Khalil Herbert fan, and they did exactly what they needed to do in this game. They didn't turn the ball over. They basically held the ball. They had the possession most of the game. Didn't let the Patriots do anything, and they played a pretty perfect game plan for what the Bears need to do. And if they can figure out how to do that against other teams, obviously the Patriots have their issues right now, very obvious issues, but the Bears, they needed this. That was a game they needed that in a bad way.
Yeah, I would agree. They did need it to try and because the NFC North is still wide open.
Right.
The only teams that are dominating is the Vikings.
And the thing with we've been saying about it all night, the NFC is so dysfunctional right now. Those wild cards could go anywhere.
They really could. Yeah, I mean, Fields had a better day running the ball than he did passing it, but still solid all around. I was shocked to see this Falcon. I've never seen Belichick get owned like this, especially by Chicago of all people.
They basically, it was like they were looking in a mirror or something, and they switched sides with the way the Bears out coached them, 100%.
Outright. This is the best win Matt Eberflus has had all year.
Yeah, 100%.
So
they came out and they did what they needed to do. They got it done, and convincingly.
Yeah, PLD, Peggy, enjoy your Merlot. You earned it. You very rarely get to feel joy. Feel it today.
Yeah.
That's going to do it for the week that was. We now look forward to the week that is. We have Week 8 predictions and a new segment we're doing right now. Stunks or not stunks. So, first of all, we got to talk about teams on a bye. On a bye this week, we have the Chargers and the Chiefs. 2 teams are going to the bye with very, very, very different perspectives.
Yeah. One is going way up and one is tanking, so...
So first of which, Thursday night, we got the Ravens versus the Buccaneers. So I got Ravens in this game because the Buccaneers look like absolute garbage.
I don't think that the Bucs are going to put up enough points. This is going to be an ugly game. It's a Thursday night game to begin with.
That's the thing with the Buccaneers offense. They've just not been able to put up points until the fourth quarter. That's the only time they can get points. Yeah,
this is not going to be it. If they can somehow get Fournette going, that's the only chance they have at all in this game. There's going to be an ugly game to watch. Real ugly game to watch.
Here's my question. Lamar Jackson. Is Lamar Jackson stunks or is he not stunks?
Right now, he's not stunks.
You're saying he's not stunks. Okay, so not stunks. See, in this particular game, I am saying he stunks. I think that if PJ Walker can do that, Lamar Jackson can put up at least 3 touchdowns on him. So I'm going stunks for this game. That's me. But Mike, you're saying not stunks.
Yeah, I just think nobody's been doing good on with obviously the Cardinals proved us wrong this week, but the Thursday games, I just don't see this being. It's going to be an ugly game of football. I think the Ravens will get a better run game going. the quote unquote stellar Bucks rush defense has been exposed the past couple weeks. I think that the Ravens are going to run all over them.
All right, looking forward to our Sunday slate. Kind of back on. Who's kind of back on prime time?
Oh, the Denver Broncos.
Okay, prime time for our overseas audience because this is London Bowl. I did not have time to make a graphic, but yes, we are back in London Bowl. Broncos are going to London to take on London's actual team, the Jacksonville Jaguars. So
give me the Jags all day.
Okay, you got Jags all day. I'm also going Jags. Now I will say this: do you think Trevor Lawrence is he stunks or is he not stunks?
In this game, I like Lawrence stunks in this game.
Okay, so Lawrence is stunks.
Yeah.
I also have Lawrence. I also have stunks on Lawrence.
Yeah.
So yes. Okay, we're agreeing on that one. Lawrence stunks for this week.
I like him this week.
All right. Up next, we got NFC South football. We got the Panthers versus the Falcons. This is a game that could go either way, honestly.
Yeah. I'm gonna go just the home field advantage is the only reason I'm gonna pick the Falcons.
Yeah, it's tough because if the Panthers play like they did against the Bucks, I think they win. That might have been an anomaly.
That's the question. Can they keep it up?
I am taking the Falcons. I don't feel good about it at all. Now,
exactly.
Falcons defense. Stunks or not stunks?
Not stunks.
Not stunks?
Yeah.
I'm very slightly leaning towards not stunks as well. All right, so so we got Falcons, but we all got Falcons, not stunks. The defense. Up next, Arlington versus Arlington Heights. Eventually, Bears versus Cowboys. I don't feel good about this at all. But I'm taking the Cowboys.
Same. I think the Cowboys defense
ways to win.
Another low-scoring game in this one. 100%. I don't see much going on firepower, but the Cowboys defense just shuts down this. Fields is not going to get an opportunity to get the ball off, and their D-line is actually playing really well. The Bears won't get the rushing attack they did against the Patriots.
Now, I will say, Bears defense in this game, stunks or not stunks?
Ooh. I actually kind of like them. I think I go stunks on this one.
Stunks. I'm also leaning stunks.
It's not a super confident one, but again, the way Dak, even when it was healthy in week 1, I don't see them exploding. It's gonna be a low scoring game. I think the Cowboys eke it out, but if you're talking the defenses, I think both defenses are gonna play well.
I think the Bears have a better defense than the Lions, and the Lions held them to 24. So,
yeah,
I think
they 100% have a better defense.
Up next, what's the next game on the docket? Speaking of the Lions, they are being visited by their opponents from the South. They have the Miami Dolphins.
Give me the Dolphins.
Yes, give me the Dolphins as well. I shouldn't have to ask you this, but I'm going to ask it anyway. Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle, are they stunks or are they not stunks?
They're going to run wild this week. Stunks.
Stunks. They are very stunks. They are so stunks it's not even funny.
That offense is going to explode this week. Miami's going to put up some points.
Up next, NFC Ball. This is a game that could actually look to be very interesting. Cardinals versus Vikings. Now, given the fact that D-Hop being in this is a game changer for the Cardinals.
Exactly.
So it's very close. I'm leaning slightly towards the Vikings on the strength they have a better coach and better play calling.
Yeah, I'm also going to go with the Vikings on this, but this could be a very fun game to watch. I think there could be some fireworks in this game.
Now, I got two stunks questions for you. First of all, Kyler Murray, is he stunks or is he not stunks?
With DeAndre Hopkins, I'm going to say yes.
Okay, so we got stunks on Kyler Murray.
Yeah.
Now, who is more stunks? Justin Jefferson or DeAndre Hopkins in this game?
Ooh. I'm actually
And no, Star Drew, they are not playing in prime time, so Kirk Cousins is going to be all right.
I think they both are going to have big games. Hopkins is going to have more receptions, but Jefferson is going to have the big plays.
Okay. So you got Jefferson over Hopkins.
Yeah, I'll go Jefferson.
All right. Raiders versus Saints. I want to check the injury report on this one, see if Andy Dalton is still playing.
So Jameis is technically healthy. Like, he was active the other night. He could have played in an emergency situation.
Okay. So he was a healthy scratch.
Yeah, pretty much. You know, he was active, but they didn't play him.
Like,
so
you can't start Dalton this time around, can you?
I don't think so. This one's really tough. I really don't know who to pick in this one, honestly.
I'm leaning ever so slightly towards the Raiders.
Yeah, I think I'm on page with you on this. Ugly game coming. Could put up some points. Ugly game. Look for turnovers. Look for bad quarterback play. It's going to be, this could be very similar to what we just saw on Thursday night.
Now we saw that he very much was last week. Now Josh Jacobs in this game, is he stunks or is he not stunks?
Oh, I love him in this game.
Stunks.
Yeah, stunks.
All right, very much. All right, stunks on Josh Jacobs.
Yeah, absolutely.
Up next, AFC East ball. This we got the Patriots versus your boys, the New York Jets.
Take the unders. Bet the unders.
Love of God, take the under. Considering the only guy in your offense who is scoring points is now out for the year.
Yeah. There is a situation in this game that if the Patriots win, they had the same situation on last night. Belichick becomes the winningest coach in NFL history. You telling me that he doesn't want to have this game against the Jets? I hate saying it. They are going to come out and have Zach Wilson so disrupted that it's going to be something like 10-6. I'm going Patriots.
I want to say the Jets. I don't feel good about it, but I want to say the Jets because I feel like they've been playing better ball. They lose their best player on offense, though. It's tough. I'm still leaning slightly towards the Jets. I don't feel good about it at all. But now we brought the question. I will bring it up. So, Zach Wilson, guy who scored one touchdown in the last 3 weeks, stunks or not stunks?
Not stunks.
Not stunks. Not stunks on Zach Wilson. That's disappointing. But yeah, all right. Up next, we got my boys, the Pittsburgh Steelers, taking on the only undefeated team in football, the Philadelphia Eagles.
The Battle of Pennsylvania.
The Battle of Pennsylvania. I'm gonna let you go first because I got my diatribe. So you go first.
So, well, first off, I think the real over/under in this game is fights in the stands because there's going to be some outright brawls. We're going to probably have some clips from the crowd in this one, I'm going to imagine. I do like the Eagles in this one. I think that the Steelers will be able to put up a little bit of a fight, but the Eagles offense is just way too high-powered right now, and they've got a decent enough defense to, at least hold the Pittsburgh back. Jalen Hurts is right now on a borderline MVP level. I don't think Pittsburgh has a team right this minute to beat the current Eagles.
Okay, let me explain something to you. Flashback to 2 years ago. The Pittsburgh Steelers were 11-0. We had the greatest start to a season in franchise history.
Here comes the Washington.
And what happened?
The
Washington football team. Our run was ended by an NFC East team. And you know what? We're going to end the undefeated run of an NFC East team this Sunday. We own Pennsylvania, and the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to win this. Kenny Pickett stunks. Najee Harris stunks. Defense stunks. All the stunks on the Pittsburgh Steelers. I said, month of October, we were going to win 2 of those 4 games. We lost Buffalo. We won Tampa. We lost Miami. By logic, we're going to win this game. Pittsburgh Steelers.
It's a bold choice.
Up next, we got more AFC South football. This is a game that week one, we would be like, "Oh God, this is gonna be an ugly game." This could still be an ugly game, but for one side.
Yeah. This is easily a Titans win. I don't see any scenario that it's not.
Yeah, I mean, okay. Look, I'm not going to talk about Derrick Henry, but I will ask you about. Oh, is Traylon Burks in for this game?
I don't know that answer.
I'm looking it up. I think he's cleared. My question is, you have Traylon Burks, or is anybody else besides? Let me ask you this way: is anybody else on the Titans' offense besides Derrick Henry stunks?
No, absolutely not. If any receiver gets like 35 yards, I'll be shocked.
I mean, yeah, just let King Henry carry you to the win.
Absolutely.
Up next, we got the Commies versus the Colts.
Heineke
versus Sam Ehlinger. Oh, God, I hate this.
You know, I originally had the Colts penciled in, but I think I'm actually going to go to the Commanders.
You're going
right
Commies?
now. I think right now McLaurin is getting hot at the right moment. Heineke has more experience, obviously, than Ehlinger. I think if the Commanders can go out there and play a mistake-free game and establish a run with Robinson and Gibson, they can force the Colts to make the mistakes. If the Commanders actually come out and don't turn the ball over, I think they win by 2 scores.
Yeah, I'm still leaning the Colts because I feel like they're better coached and a better squad. But I don't feel good about it.
It's another game. Yeah, it's a terrible game.
I'm gonna throw out some questions. I'm gonna go out a few rapid fire stunks or not stunks. Jonathan Taylor.
Not stunks.
Not stunks against the Commies.
Yeah, I don't like them.
All right. Either Michael Pittman or Paris Campbell.
Paris Campbell recently all of a sudden has emerged. Like, where did this come from? One of them will have a good game. I don't think it'll be both of them, but I think Pittman might be the one this week.
And Taylor, and last one, Taylor Heineke.
Taylor Heineke, this is a literal neutral. I guess I would have to say not stonks because I don't think the game is going to revolve on him.
So not stunks. Wow.
Yeah.
All right. Up next, we got NFC West football. 49ers versus the Rams. I don't feel good about this game at all. If I'm a betting man, I am not touching this game.
This game is I'm gonna go with the Rams for this pure and simple reason that they want it back from the one they lost earlier in the year.
Yeah.
But not confidently.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I'm not confident. I'm saying the Rams because I just think they have a better squad.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I do not feel good about this.
Now,
Now,
I'm gonna take the Rams.
In this particular game, Deebo Samuel stunks or not stunks?
I'm gonna say not stunks.
Really, not stunks.
Yeah, I don't love either offense in this game particularly. If I was honestly with the way that things have progressed, if anybody on the 49ers, I'm going Kittle.
Yeah, that's probably true. I'd ask Allen Robinson, but he has not been stunks all year. Because he's clearly missing. I don't know where he went. Surprisingly, what could be a good game: Giants versus Seahawks.
This could be a fun one, actually. I'm going with the Seahawks. Like I can't believe this game could be a wild game, but it's in Seattle, and let Geno cook.
I guess. I am also it's tough. I'm leaning Seattle. This could be a big running game for both teams. It's whoever can allow less yards on the ground, I think, is going to win. And I think that will be Seattle. And also, I think Geno Smith is a better quarterback right now than Daniel Jones.
Who would have thought, though, like when the schedule got released and you saw the 49ers, Rams, and the Giants, Seahawks, that the Giants, Seahawks is like the must-watch game of the 425 slate.
Yeah, right? Okay, now we'll ask. For this game, Tyler Lockett, stunks or not stunks?
I'll go Stonks.
Stonks, unlock it.
Yeah.
All right. I'm leaning slightly towards Stonks as well.
Yeah.
And
I think he'll do well. But Marquise Goodwin, call me crazy, but I think he might do it again.
Up next, Sunday night primetime, the Packers versus the Bills. You struggled against the Jets and the Commies. I feel like you are going to die.
This is the easiest game to pick all week.
You're going Bills?
Yo, hands down.
My problem is, this so feels like a trap game.
But who on the Packers is going to catch anything?
No. This so feels like a trap game. I'm saying Bills. Don't get me wrong. I'm saying Bills. I don't feel confident about it, but I'm saying Bills.
They're going to destroy them. It's not even going to be close.
Look, flashback to like a few years back when the Texans were 6-0 and they played the Packers and Aaron Rodgers threw like 6 touchdowns. That could happen here. I don't think it will.
No.
But it will happen here. But it could happen. Now for this game, throw out a name for you. Gabe Davis. Stonks or not stonks?
I'll go Stonks on this one, and it's not going to take much. 2 catches, he'll get 60 yards.
All right. And lastly, got the Bengals versus the Browns.
We were talking about this earlier. The Bengals are right now one of the teams I would not want to play. I know it's a division matchup and everything, but this offense is firing on all cylinders right now. I definitely am going with the Bengals on this one.
Yeah. I mean, because I think originally they're supposed to have Deshaun at this point. That's not happening for another couple of weeks. If Deshaun was playing, I think that this is a much closer game, but I am leaning Cincinnati on this one. Now, for this particular game, T. Higgins, stonks or not stonks?
Stonks.
Stonks. All right. Now, one more thing we're gonna start doing from now on. We're gonna start calling our shots from right now. Basically, we're gonna throw out a game for a topic. Basically, okay. So, upset of the week. You have to try and predict one. What do you got?
All right, so I'm actually pulling my picks back up so I can see. I'll say the Commanders because I think that's the one that of everything that I picked. It's in Indianapolis. I don't know if you necessarily call that an upset really, but I think they're going to go. The Indianapolis probably will be coming to this game favored. Of everything that we picked right now, I'm going to go with that.
My pick is going to be Pittsburgh versus
Pittsburgh over Eagles.
Philadelphia. Oh crap! I did. Yeah, Steelers versus Eagles. That's my upset of the week. Now, looking at our slates, what do you have for game of the week?
Giants Seahawks. Sign me up.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a wild pick. This is so tough. You know what? I'm gonna lean slightly towards Dolphins Lions.
That could be high scoring.
I think that could be like a sneakily high scoring game. All right, so that's going to do it for our show here today. Mike, where can people find you at?
You can find me here every Tuesday. I'll be here for the rest of the season. And then you can find me on What the Show. We've got 2 streams this week. Tomorrow night's going to be our regular 10 o'clock Eastern start. We're going to be watching Justin the Juice's video of The Bachelorette. I have not seen it. I'm excited to react to that. This coming Friday night, we are going to have our 2-year anniversary spectacular. We will be partying all night, so come join us for that.
You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, @chance_91. Check out my podcast, Notorious by Chance. We're in the middle of our Scarefest right now. Our episode on the Wolfman will be coming out in the next couple days. And here, of course, Left Side Strong Side every week. And, of course, PJ Campbell's show. PJ's just got to start a new job, so we haven't had time to record an episode. Once we figure that whole thing out, we will get back to recording new stuff. That's going to do it for us here today. Thank you for watching, and we will see you next week.
Holy shit! Stop being weird, nigga!